Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes, and I am somewhat annoyed. I had a video done, dusted, edited, all ready to go where this one is going, and it was about the same subject. However, and like I say, very annoyingly, things have moved on. There's been another break in the story, and so I'm having to basically re record the video and add the new thing to it because bloody news happening too fast and all that. Now, we know from long experience and the way that things have been going that the SNP is very, very anti Semitic. They absolutely hate Jewish people. They hate the state of Israel. They hate anything to do with anything like that. They don't want Britain to sell Israel arms to defend themselves, anything like that. They're ultimately, well, it's not surprising where they come from, the National Socialists is their base, of course. It's their touchstone when anything like that happens. And that's not surprising as well, also, that they're backing Gaza and the Palestinians and allegedly Hamas. And indeed, I feel there needs to be a full investigation. And if either directly or inadvertently Humza Yousaf has funded Hamas, then I think Humza Yousaf, as well as all the other senior members of the SNP who also knew that this funding was going through, should be investigated, where appropriate, arrested, charged, tried, found guilty, and imprisoned. Somewhere nice, somewhere like Wandsworth or Wakefield. Somewhere where it's not very nice. Somewhere where they can be locked in a little room for 20, 30 years and their only companion being a small plastic bucket into which they can shit. That, for me, would be a suitable punishment. Unlikely, of course, to happen. However, despite all this, there is still one or two people in the party who aren't riven with this absolute deep-seated hatred of Jews or Israel. And one of them is just a very surprising source. And this is someone who I've always considered to be an utterly awful little man, a vertical turd of a man. Not even one rolled in glitter, just a little turd rolled in more turd, really. It's a hate-filled man, usually, and his name is John Mason. But on this occasion, I'm going to give him a modicum of respect because he stood against his own party. We know that there's a lot of infighting over Angus Robertson meeting with the Jewish deputy ambassador. And yet, despite the calls for his head, Swinney has not fired him. Now, either Swinney hasn't got the balls to fire him, highly likely, or Swinney actually asked him to go and speak to the deputy ambassador, in which case Swinney would have to stand down as well. Ain't going to happen, is it? And so you have this conversation taking place and everyone in the party going, oh, Angus Robertson, bad man, shouldn't talk to Jews. And they want him gone. They want his job. Although, ironically, the only way wars end, the only way troubles end is people sitting and talking. My problem is that it shouldn't be the SNP talking. This is a national thing. The SNP shouldn't be involved in international politics. It is the United Kingdom and its diplomatic corps, its ambassadors, its Foreign and Commonwealth Office, its Cabinet Office. They are the ones who should be dealing with this on a national level. No one from Scotland. But that's beside the point. We're at this point where everyone is having a go at Angus. And then John Mason also met with this ambassador. And people are unhappy with John Mason. One woman, her name is Sandra White. She used to be an SNP MSP, no longer. But she says that he, Mason, is a disgrace from the party, and he should, resign, he should go, he should not be touched. She put, as a post on Twitter, X, we know what the Israelis hope to achieve. They are already committing genocide in Gaza. You mentioned talk whilst innocent children are being massacred. Mason took umbrage with this and responded and said, if Israel wanted to commit genocide, they would have been killing 10 times as many. And of course, he's right. Israel aren't killing Gazans. Israel are going after Hamas. And it's not Israel's fault that Hamas will launch its rockets into Israel to kill Israelis from schools or hospitals. That's where they choose to do it. It's Hamas who are killing Gazans, not the Israelis. Anyway, it is this, and it's obviously in response to that 7th of October attacks. And honestly, if your neighbour came across the fence and did that to your family, you have to ask, what would you do? Now, you have all these people up in arms about this, about what John Mason has said. I mean, and to be honest, John Mason is right. You've still got 2 open gates in Gaza for Palestinians to come through into Israel. People aren't telling you this. The Rafah gate is the biggest gate, and that's Rafah is I think the Palestinian word for Egypt. No one's getting into Egypt. The Rafah gate is way heavily more defended than the Israeli gates because the Egyptians don't want the Palestinians. Nobody wants the Palestinians. No Muslim country wants to deal with them. Everybody hates the Palestinians. The only people who are good to the Palestinians are actually the Israelis, who give them jobs. And indeed, the West Bank is still open and they go freely because there's so many people in the West Bank, Palestinians in the West Bank, who work in Israel. This is a crazy mixed up system they've got. Anyway, everyone seems now to be having a go at John Mason. He's just lost the whip. Now, he hasn't lost the whip because he met with the Israeli deputy ambassador, because again, I suspect that meeting was arranged by Swinney. But he did lose the whip for saying if Israel wanted to commit genocide, they'd kill 10 times as many. He's told the truth. And he loses the whip for telling the truth. He loses the whip for defending Israel. That tells you 2 things. It tells you, 1, the SNP cannot abide the truth. And secondly, the SNP are by that action proving themselves beyond any doubt that they are absolutely Jew-hating, anti-Semitic wankers. They may as well just don the Hugo Boss suits and march into Poland, because that is exactly who they are. I'm surprised they haven't opened camps and put the Jews of Scotland into them yet, because that's the direction of travel in SNP Scotland. Shameful. And I cannot believe I'm defending John Mason, but I am. Anyway, let me know what you think. Let me know what your views on this are, and I will speak to you soon. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.